Hi skate pals, I'm Elizabeth from GeekGirlSkates. Do your wheels sound like this when you roll? Or barely move at all? Then it might be time to clean your bearings. If you're like me and over the course of the last year you've been skating a lot more than usual, it probably means you need to clean your bearings a little bit more often. And I'm actually really embarrassed at how bad these wheels have gotten. My friends would say, "Oh, I love the sound of your wheels as you go down the ramp." And now that I think about it, I realize actually it was just really dirty bearings. I'm not that cool. So it's actually kind of dangerous because dirt gets in your bearings and it can lock them up, which means you can go over. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I clean my bearings. The first step is to remove the bearings from my wheels. I have one of these fancy bearing pullers, which is an amazing piece of kit and makes this process really easy and quick. They can be a little expensive, but I think it's really worth the investment, especially if you're changing your wheels and bearings regularly. You can also use other types of bearing removing tools. Some skate tools have a little end on them that helps to remove their bearings, and I've seen people use their axles to do this too, but I am a little skeptical about using the axle to remove the bearing. These are my CIB wheels, which have been on my Moxi Lollies, and I'm in the process of converting these skates from being my main skate park setup to my fun leisure skates, and I'll be showing this process in a future video. I'm going to be following the directions that came with my Bones bearings, which means that I'm going to clean them, dry them really well, and lubricate them with Bones Speed Cream. Now that I've removed all the bearings from my wheels, I need to actually open them up so that the cleaning solution can get inside them. This removes all the dirt and grime. It's really easy to do this, but you'll need a folded out paper clip or a thumbtack or something small that you can use to wedge inside and pop off the shield. To do this, I'm going to use my paper clip and carefully insert it into the inner edge of the bearing and then gently lever it off. It might take a couple of tries to get the motion, but try not to be too harsh as this can damage the shield. Also, please be careful with your fingers, especially if you're using something sharp and pointy, as you don't want to stab yourself by accident. Once all the shields are off the bearings, I'm going to put them in a jar with some warm soapy water to wash. I've just used normal dish soap here, and the kind of stuff that's good for greasy dishes. Next, I'm going to take my Bones bearing cleaning bottle, remove the lid, and unscrew the wing nut to release all the spacers. Then I'm going to put one bearing on the bolt, followed by a spacer, and alternate the bearings and spacers until 8 are on, and then put the wing nut back on. Then I'll add my cleaning solution. I'm using 70% rubbing alcohol, just like you would use for first aid. I haven't added a lot, it's just enough to fill to below the logo. Once the lid is back on the bottle, you want to give it a good shake for about 15 seconds and then carefully remove the lid from the bottle. I like to check to make sure each bearing is spinning and then move on to the other set of 8 bearings and repeat the process. When all the bearings have been cleaned, I just tap them on the paper towel to help them dry. Once I'm happy that they're all dry, I start to lubricate the bearings by adding 2 drops of Bones Speed Cream. I'm adding them to opposite sides of the bearing so that when I spin it around, it'll help to spread the lubricant out. Then the shield is replaced, and it just needs to be placed on top of the bearing and gently pushed in until it pops. I really like this part of the process because I think the pop is so satisfying. Finally, I spin each bearing to help the lubricant spread out. And that's it! I'm going to store these bearings in a plastic bag to keep them nice and clean until I'm ready to use them. I'm probably going to pop them in my new wheels that I've got for my Moxi setup. If you've got any tips or tricks for cleaning bearings, go ahead and pop it in the comments below. Please like this video and subscribe to GeekGirlSkates to stay up to date with my future skate videos. That's all for now, and keep roller skating!